Right, thank you. After that inauspicious start, Daniel's really just asked me to talk about NMPAT, the Northamptonshire Music and Performing Arts Trust, and about the that was no longer called the Music Education Hub. It's actually called the Music Hub, just to get an understanding about the difference between the two. So Northamptonshire Music and Performing Arts Trust is probably what you would recognise as the music service for the county, for Northamptonshire, and now also for Rutland. It started life as a county council service, working within the county council to deliver traditional instrumental tuition to young people across all the age ranges. About 12 years ago, probably in preparation for the eventual dissolution of the county council, the organisation came out of county council control and set up as a charity and a company limited by guarantee, and it's continuing to do the work that it was already doing when it was part of the county council. Having said that, there have been a number of developments over the years. There is a fully funded music production course that's working in secondary schools at the moment. And in regards to working with children with special educational needs and learning difficulties, there's also a program called Reach the Stars, which works in special schools and designated special provision units within mainstream education. There are also things like the Saturday morning centres, of which there are 9, which are distributed all around the county. And the traditional route is that you learn an instrument in school, you are then encouraged to go to a Saturday morning music centre, and from there, there is that progression route to take an audition and become one of the county bands and ensembles. But beyond that, you may not be able to read all this, so I hope it will be sent out to everybody afterwards. We are also the lead partner for the Northamptonshire and Rutland Music Hub. Now, this is set up by the Department for Education with the funds administered by Arts Council England to run a number of very specific programmes. I mean, one of the programmes that takes up most time, energy, and money is what's called whole class ensemble teaching, which is the government's plan for every child, usually in primary school, to have at least 1 term's worth of weekly tuition. Now, this might be on something like the violin, it could be a woodwind instrument like the clarinet. A school might opt to have a whole term or a whole year of djembe work, it might be samba. And so that's one of the responsibilities of the lead partner. But also there is this idea, and a word we've heard already today, about an ecosystem. Now, I won't go through all of them, but you have things like community partners, which are amateur bands and orchestras, semi-professional bands and orchestras. We have, in fact, all the schools in Northamptonshire and Rutland are by default part of the Music Education Hub. There are some MEHEM, MEHEM. There are some East Midlands wide partners. There's, as you see, commercial partners, national partners, some of which you may recognise. And there's also delivery partners, which are organisations, one of which I also work for, called Deep Roots Tall Trees, that are working with young people, delivering music education and arts education in some cases across the county, across both Northamptonshire and Rutland. What I will say about this particular slide is that, and in the context of what we've been talking about today and we'll be talking about this afternoon, you may feel that it is not as comprehensive as one might want. So in a similar way to what Chris was saying, I'm here today to open a pathway to have discussions about how other organisations, how other initiatives could get involved in what the Music Hub does. Moving quickly on, I actually run something called the Musical Inclusion Programme, so I'm going to talk a little bit about that. It's a programme originally funded by Youth Music, but now funded by a plethora of many different grants and funding sources that support children and young people in challenging circumstances. So as you can see, this is a wide range of young people who get supported through this programme. Care experienced children, children who've been in care or who are in care. We also work with adults. We have a ukulele group, online ukulele group at the moment with carers who are adults that was started during the pandemic and remains online because that's very convenient if you're a carer. You don't have to go out and leave your cared for person alone. We do a lot of work with children with SEND. I've got something called Musicians Assemble. Not quite Avengers Assemble, but Musicians Assemble. It's a group of 6 children with profound and multiple learning difficulties who we work with, bring in students from our other bands and ensembles, and we work on pieces of music together. We're about to have our first performance consisting of I think the term is nowadays a mashup. I think that's probably the appropriate thing, of the opening theme, which is by a chap called Richard Strauss, but the opening theme to 2001: A Space Odyssey, mashed up with a couple of things from Star Wars. So we're very much looking forward to that. And I think all the different ways that you could describe a mashup, probably it will be that. Just a couple of things about the projects here. This top one here was called the Live Lounge Challenge. Daniel's actually here. He's just to the left. You can't quite see him. Daniel had a lovely idea for something called a live lounge, which we've never done. But we sort of, well, he didn't really want to do this, but we sort of changed it somewhat so that these children were there for the whole day. The aim was to create a piece of music, semi-improvised, as well as semi-composed. But the challenge was not only did they have to compose it together with this lady that you can see crouching down here called Sigrun, but we also had to record it as well, which is where Daniel came in. So was it a challenge, Daniel? Yeah. No, this one that you did, that I made you do. Can you remember? You can't remember now, can you? No, you can't remember. Never mind. It was so impactful, Daniel's forgotten about it. Fantastic. I mean, we do some work at the moment in Wellingborough. This was actually, and I think this has been mentioned already, this was back in 2019 at the Hemingwell Community Centre with Cam, who you can see there, and another of our musicians, Rebecca Price, as well as Gregory Coulson, or Greg Coulson, who is quite a well-known musician in Northampton. That's gone off in different directions now. There's a Young Carers Music Club in Wellingborough, and Cam and Rebecca have just started a new project called Future Sounds, based at the Hemingwell Centre, based at the studio, which is specifically for young people at risk of crime or antisocial behaviour. And we do other things as well. I think I probably, if I go any longer, I won't be snappy. So I better finish it there. And I think there's a final slide, which I hope you will get at the end. So it's got my contact details on and an email in case you want to get in touch with me and discuss any sort of collaborations or partnerships that you're interested in. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.